when we walk from our parking lot to the office where we work, it is possible that we walk in such a way that it touches the ground of reality, the ground of life with every step. Because you may be walking like a sleepwalker. You only think of arrival at the workplace. But there's nothing spectacular in the workplace. You continue to do the same thing. That may be boring. But why do you walk like a sleepwalker? Why don't learn the way of the Buddha to enjoy every step? You have to walk there anyway. And why don't adapt the art of mindful walking? Every step brings peace. Every step brings freedom. Every step brings healing. Every step helps you to touch life with all the wonders. And that is not something so difficult to do. Everyone can do. If you free yourself from that kind of intention to run, to succeed. Walk in such a way that life is possible with every step. I have arrived in the here and the now. I am home in the present moment. I enjoy this moment. I am fully present in this, during this step. And every step I make is a testimony, is a proof that I have lived my life. Look at the footstep. I was present in that step. I signed my signature in that step. And that step has solidity. Because I was established solidly in the here and the now. And solidity. That step has the mark of freedom. Because when I made that step, I was not pulled away by the past, by the future, by my project, by my anger. I was free. So freedom and solidity are the marks of the step. And in the tradition of Buddhism, freedom and solidity are characteristics of nirvana. And you can cultivate freedom and solidity just by walking. And if you can make a step like that during your lifetime on earth, and then our children will say that, well, our ancestors were able to make steps like that. They will be proud of us. Walk with freedom, walk like a Buddha. The Buddha, where is the Buddha? The Buddha is in you. Allow the Buddha to walk with freedom and with solidity. And when you are walking like that, you are free. You are solidly established in the here and the now. You don't have any worry. That does not seem to be any kind of hard practice, but that is true diligence. Every time you need to walk in such a way. And your feet are still strong to do that. And you have enough strong will, goodwill to do that. Why wait? Freedom is now or never. Happiness is now or never. Allow you to be happy, allow you to be free. In the upper hamlet, I always remind the brothers that when you walk, you should not talk or think. Because thinking pulls away our attention. Talking remove our attention on the steps. So not talking, not thinking during walking is to focus your attention entirely on every step you make. When you walk, you just walk. And walk in such a way that freedom, solidity, joy, and healing is possible with every step. Peace is every step. Healing is every step. Life is every step. Happiness is every step. And this is possible now when we are still alive, when our feet are still strong enough to enjoy walking. And every step will become a legend for our children, because we know how to enjoy our time being on earth. And that is the best thing we can handle down to our children, our happiness, our freedom. In the teaching of the Buddha, true diligence very often are described in 4 steps. And one step contains the other 3. The first step, the unbeneficial in us, try your best not to allow them to manifest. Because in us there are beneficial things and unbeneficial things. In the depth of our consciousness, there is a seed of love, a seed of compassion, a seed of joy, a seed of forgiveness. These are very beneficial things that are in us. It's like there are many kind of bacteria in our intestines, in our mouth. There are beneficial microflora, and that are very useful. And there are harmful microflora. So there are good mental formations in the form of seeds that lie deep in our store consciousness. The capacity to forgive, the capacity to be compassionate, the capacity to love, the capacity to be joyful. And all that are there. But the opposite are there also. Our anger, our fear, our despair, our trauma are there. So the first step of mindfulness is the first step of the practice of diligence is to be artful, skillful enough not to allow them to manifest. Allow them to sleep quietly, peacefully down there. Don't go down and touch them off. The trauma concerning the past. You have to let them, to lullaby them to sleep down there. Because every time they wake up, they make a mess. And there must be ways of doing so. So our consciousness is represented by a circle with at least 2 layers. And down and lower level of a consciousness is called store consciousness. Store. And the beneficial and the non-beneficial mental formations are there in the form of seeds. If you water, if you touch this seed down here, they will manifest up into the upper level of consciousness, called mental consciousness. So, store consciousness is like the basement of our home. And mental consciousness, mind consciousness, is like the living room. Usually, the things you don't like, we put them in the basement. We don't want to. We want our living room to be presentable. Every time a seed of anger manifests here, the landscape of the living room is not beautiful. And that is why we should try our best to keep the seed of anger down there. And that is the first practice of right delusions. And there must be ways to do it. You have to sing a lullaby in order to help that to sleep. In Bangladesh, I have a song. We have several songs to lullaby these seeds of suffering, trauma, to sleep, so that you can bring into the living room the more beautiful things. The unbeneficial thing, before they manifest, try to keep down there, keep them down there. Because when they manifest, they will make us suffer. And they will be strengthened at the base. The fact is that if you allow anger to come up here and occupy the whole living room, and if you allow anger to stay long, and then at the base here, it will be strengthened. It's become more important. So let us not give it a chance to grow. If you get angry every day, and your seed of anger grow bigger and bigger every day. Remember, he was not as angry as he is today 10 years ago. He has allowed himself, he has allowed his anger to come up too often, and you have help touching the anger in him. So he is much more angry now than 10 years ago, because the seed of anger has grown into a much more important seed, because he does not practice right delusions. He does not know how to keep the seed of anger sleeping down there. So help him, help her, gently. with a lot of insight and compassion. The second step of practice, the second aspect of practice is that if by chance, if it happens that that seed has already manifested, the seed of anger, the seed of despair, the seed of jealousy, the seed of suffering, the seed of trauma has manifested. And then do something in order to help that to go down, to go back to its original position in the store consciousness. Because if it stays long there, it will be strengthened down there. This is the law. It is like in many countries, if a political party is in the power, and that political party has sent to strengthen its grassroots organization, because it has the power, it can strengthen its party. It's the same. When anger is manifested and stays long in mind consciousness at the base, the seed will grow stronger. And you have to see that. Therefore, the second aspect of the practice of diligence is that if it happens that one unbeneficial mental formation is manifested here, like anger and fear and despair, don't allow it to stay too long. Do something to help it go back. Not suppressing, but helping it to go back. And one of the ways is to invite a beneficial one to come up, to replace. In the sutra, the Buddha was using the image of a pack, P-E-G. A carpenter, in order to connect two blocks of wood, should use a pack, and he drive a pack into a hole, and then he keep the two pieces of block of wood together. But if the pack is rotten or it's not a good one, he can change the pack. He can use another pack and drive the old one out and replace it by a new pack. A pack changing, that is a recommendation made by the Buddha. When an unbeneficial mental formation is manifested, the practitioner should know how to replace it by a good one. This is called changing the pack. Now we can use the image of a CD. If the CD does not please us, if the sound does not please us, why do we have to listen? We have to change the CD. So changing the CD is the second aspect of the practice. If you don't like anger, despair, why do you have to sit there in order to suffer? If you don't want that fear, why do you have to sit there in order to suffer? Change the channel. And there are good CDs in you. The CD of compassion, of love, of joy, of peace. So invite it up, and it is very pleasant, and it can change the situation right away, and you don't have to combat, to suppress the other the other mental formation. Imagine the Buddha telling us how to do it, step by step, changing the city. That's not too difficult. Bring your attention to the beneficial and remove your attention from the non-beneficial. And that is the practice called the practice of appropriate attention. You bring your attention to the things that can help touch the good things in you, like the sound of the bell. We are used already to the practice of listening to the bell. Every time we hear the bell, naturally we stop thinking, we stop talking, and we focus our attention on the bell, and we enjoy breathing in and out, and we touch peace. We touch our body, our mind, we touch peace. So bringing your attention to an object that can help us to touch the beneficial in us is called appropriate attention. Như lý tác ý. The Sanskrit is yoniso manaskara. Yoniso manaskara. Manaskara is attention. Yoniso is positive. And when you bring attention to the things that will help the unbeneficial feeling to arise, like anger, craving, desire, despair. That kind of attention is wrong attention, wrong mindfulness. That is called ayoniso manaskara. Ayoniso manaskara, inappropriate attention. Phi như lý tác ý. And this is what we can do. We have to arrange our life in such a way that our attention will be focused on the positive, on the beneficial, so that the good things in us will be manifest to replace the negative things. And a practitioner should be artful, skillful, intelligent in order to organize her life. When you read a magazine, there may be an article that will bring out the worst in you. So I refuse to read such a magazine, because I know, if I know that I am not strong enough, I will refrain. If I am strong enough, if I'm a good practitioner that has enough strength and courage and joy, and then I may be able to read that article or to see that film without being affected by it, so that I can give my idea, I can help educate the young people and advise them not to view that kind of film. But if I am weak, too weak, I know that I will be affected by it, and then I would refrain from seeing that film. So picking up a magazine and glancing through, you know that you can practice appropriate attention. You don't read the things that bring you toxin, poisons, and bring up the negative feelings and emotions in you. The third aspect of right diligence is the beneficial that has been slipping down there for a long time without a chance to manifest. Invite them to come up. Like a friend, it has been a long time you have not invited her to come. And you know that her presence in the living room is a big joy. So send her email, send her an invitation. And you know that her presence in your living room dissipate the darkness, the sorrow. So that friend is in you. The capacity to be happy, to be joyful, to be compassionate. And these friends are always available. We should invite them often to the living room. That's not too difficult to do. Invite them. You do have, I do have good friends. I know that every time a friend like that is in my living room, I enjoy so much. A feeling of joy, of serenity, of peace, of self-fulfillment, of forgiveness is always possible. Joy and happiness are always possible. So this is the third aspect of the practice. The beneficial things, give them a chance to manifest. And by the practice of yoniso manaskara, appropriate attention. And living in a community of practice, we support each other. We help each other not to sink into the past, not to embrace our pain, our sorrow of the past, but come out to the present moment and enjoy the wonders of life that are available in the present moment. So that is why organizing a community of practice is very important. That is a refuge for many of us. Sangha building is a very noble task. You need a Sangha in order to preserve, to maintain our practice. You need a Sangha in order for many people to come and take refuge and suffer less. So building Sangha is very important. And you get a pleasure, you get a lot of pleasure building a Sangha. The fourth aspect of the practice of true relations is that when the beneficial arises, try to keep them as long as possible with you, like a friend. Because the longer they stay in the living room, at the base, the seat will become more important, the seat of joy, of peace. Suppose we come for a 5-day retreat, only 5 days. According to our experiences, the first day is difficult because people are not used to it. Life out there is very quick, and suddenly coming here in a retreat, you have to abandon that kind of speech. You have to adopt another speech. You practice noble silence. You practice mindful breathing. You have to walk slowly, And that is difficult, especially for beginners. And usually there are a few who want to leave after the first day. Why have I come here? Am I crazy to come to a retreat like this? Why do I have to stand up and bow this direction and bow to that direction? It's silly. I don't enjoy doing that. Why bowing like that? It does not mean anything. But on the second day, these friends suffer less. On the third day, they begin to like it. Because the good seeds have been watered for 3 days. The good seeds have been watered for 3 days during the Dharma talks, during Dharma discussion, during the session of Dharma discussion. And brotherhood, sisterhood arises. And they feel that, well, it makes sense to walk slowly like that, to relax. Why do I have to run? And that kind of insight begin to come, and they accept. On the fourth day, they are told that after tomorrow, the retreat will end. Oh, we only have tomorrow, the last day. So on the fifth day, they are so happy. But that is the last day already. So that happened with the 5-day retreat. But many of us can only afford to come to a 5-day retreat. Whether we are in England or in America, 5-day retreats is what we can afford. But 21-day retreat is a very rare, very precious. Because during 21 days, the good things in us are watered every day. And the second week is not like the first week. There were difficulty in the first week, but in the second day, well, people feel much more at ease. And they enjoy brotherhood, sisterhood, the practice, the peace. In our Hamlet, we are 250, but it's very peaceful, very quiet. And we feel our presence, powerful presence, silent, powerful presence. We feel brotherhood. If a good friend has come to your living room, try your best to keep him with you as long as possible. So the good things that have arisen, try to keep them, because at the base, that goodness will continue to grow. And next time, these good things manifest so easily because they are important. Sometimes you don't have to invite; they just come to your living room, and you are used to happiness. Happiness becomes a regular thing, a normal thing. Before that, happiness is not normal. Only from time to time we have happiness. But if happiness, the seed of happiness, the seed of love is strong, they will manifest by themselves without invitation, and they are welcome. So to summarize, to repeat, the unbeneficial, keep them sleeping down there. Don't invite them up. Second, if they have manifested, try your best to bring them down to their original position as soon as possible. The good things that have not manifested, invite them up to manifest. The fourth is when they have manifested, keep it. invited to stay longer. That is the true meaning of diligence. That is spoken by the Buddha. Chánh tinh tấn, and you enjoy doing so. Doing so, you don't suffer, and you enjoy it. That is why it should be described as diligence and not effort, because you don't need to suffer at all. The second mindfulness training is about generosity, not stealing. Not to harm the environment, not to be greedy, and to be happy with minimum conditions. And this is very important. When you revise the second mindfulness training, you have to think of true happiness. Because if people practice wrong diligence, because they have too much desire, and having too much desire, you don't have time to live your life, to love, to get the healing and transformation. You burn yourself with the fire of desire. And this should be bare mindfulness for people like Frederick, the businessman. There are many of those, many Fredericks in our world. They are powerful. They may be very successful in their enterprise, but they suffer. They don't really live their life. They don't have the time to practice the four aspects of true diligence, because they are caught in wrong diligence. They are sucked into their work. The second mindfulness training about not stealing, practicing generosity, has to do with a simple life, a simple lifestyle. And we know that it has to do with desire. And we have spoken about the original desire, the desire of the infant, of the tender infant in us, that the original desire is the desire to survive. If you continue to work hard today, accumulating more and more, that is only a continuation of that primordial desire. You still worry a lot. You still want to survive, and you don't know. You continue the infant, the feeling of the infant in you. Yesterday we have learned that desire and fear are the same thing. You are afraid that you will die, and that is why you desire. You desire that there must be someone that can help you to survive. You are hoping every moment for that person to come, to help you, to protect you. You are helpless. You do not have any means to survive by yourself. You need another person. If we look deeply into our desire, we see that every kind of desire that we have is a continuation of the original desire. First, we think that getting the diploma is essential for our survival. It will assure as a place, a job. So we invested everything into getting the diploma. You don't enjoy studying, even if to learn things is a joy, to discover things is a joy. But you consider studying as only a means. We only want the end, which is the diploma. So studying is a kind of hard work. And I have to practice diligence. I should be a diligent student. I suffer because what I want is not what I study, but the diploma that they will give me. So that is wrong diligence. A good student enjoys everything, every hour of class, because that is the food for the soul, the food for the spirit. Like a Dhamma talk. You don't listen to a Dhamma talk in order to get a credit, a certificate. You listen to the Dhamma talk because the Dhamma talk water the good seed, the seed of joy and peace and happiness and wisdom in you, right? So you enjoy the Dhamma talk. Here the students do not enjoy the study, they just think of the diploma. And the day they got the diploma, they relax for a few days. And they begin to think, now the next step is to get a job. Because a diploma without a job will lead nowhere. So now the goal is different, seeking for a job. What kind of job? So if the person is fortunate, and then after 3 months, 6 months, she got a job. But after getting a job, she will think that now I need a house. And she continues like that. She can never enjoy her diploma or her job. Once they obtain. And there are those of us who do not obtain. And those who have obtained what they want, that does not make them happy either, because they want another. So desire after desire, you never stop. And we learn that all kind of desire is the continuation of the original desire. To be safe, because worry is always there. The little child in us continue to worry, to be fearful. And we have not got the time to talk to the inner child, to tell him, to tell her that there is no reason why we should worry, because everything is fine now. In the present moment, there is no problem, there is no threat. And if in the present moment we don't have any problem, it means we don't have any problem. Why continue to worry, to be fearful? So you have to transmit the wisdom to the inner child.